Welcome, NBA bettors from around the globe, to the Tuesday edition of The Release Show. I'm your host, John Metler, sports betting analyst here at Covers.com, and I'm joined by Adam Scherher from EV Analytics. Adam, how's it going today?
Going pretty well now that I figured out how to get my computer to kind of work. I had a rough start to the morning.
Yeah, we had some little bit of technical difficulties, but before the show here, but we got the bets now. We got everything, found all the numbers. Everything's good. We're ready to roll. So first thing before we get rolling here with the Release Show, one, drop us a like on our YouTube channel, subscribe so you can see all of Adam's picks the rest of the season. This is the last week of the regular season in the NBA, but lots of playoffs all the way till June, and we'll be doing the Release Show all the way through the playoffs as well too. Second, drop us some comments in the chat when we get the bet. Let us know where you found it. If you found a better number, just let us know. Maybe it's a market. Everything's constantly moving, so there might be something even better out there, and you can help your fellow people who are watching the show. And three, let me know where you're watching from. I am very serious. I'm getting a map, and I'm going to pin where people are watching from. I know we've got Montreal, Kansas, Colorado Springs. Bulgaria was fake. That was Joe Osborne. But we've got Serbia and Brazil. I'd actually prefer if you can give me like a city too. So I know some people drop Serbia and Brazil on us. Give me the city so I can put the pin specifically. So I am going to do that. So let us know where you're watching from as well. If you're new to the Release Show, what we're going to do is Adam's going to give out 3 picks. We're going to bring you to a sports book. We'll tell you what game we are betting on. We'll tell you the prop market we're betting on. And then we'll tell you the player we're betting on, who the player is, what the bet is. And we'll give everyone like a second to place the bet. Adam will break it down for us, and then we'll move on to the second release. Last Thursday, we drank the juice a little bit. We went 1-1. It shouldn't be the case when we do 3 picks, but Jonathan Kuminga went void and didn't play. So we went 1-1. Hopefully we're going for a sweep today. And I see people are already dropping us. Jersey City, New Jersey, Wichita, Kansas, South Africa. Give me a city. So I can be more specific. All right, we'll do the first release here. And we are going to DraftKings for the first release. Then the game we're looking for is Denver Nuggets, Utah Jazz. And then we're going for a player combo, points, rebounds, and assists. The whole combo, everything. And the player we are looking at, and the number is there, so it's perfect. So we're looking at Nikola Jokic. And the bet is Nikola Jokic under 50.5 points, rebounds, and assists, minus 115 here at DK. If you don't have DraftKings, minus 115 at 365. And I believe FanDuel also had minus 115 when we came on air here, so you can use those books as well. But once again, the bet is Nikola Jokic under 50.5 points, rebounds, and assists, minus 115 at DraftKings. Adam, if you want to give us a little breakdown here for why you like Jokic to go under.
Yeah, so, good matchup for Jokic to produce here, obviously. Not going to feel great taking Jokic unders, not going to feel great taking them against Utah, certainly. But we do have him projected to go several points or a couple of points under here. You have blowout potential, obviously. You have Jamal Murray back. I think that's a big piece, or probable, rather. So Murray coming back, obviously just sort of limits, or not limits, but increases the likelihood that you get a game where Jokic just doesn't have to have his foot on the gas doing everything. And so you do see his projection come down a bit with Murray back. And the line hasn't moved today. It opened at minus 115. It's still at minus 115. So we don't have any movement there, but we don't have any movement against us either. Just looks like it's basically just a projection spot where we don't have him projected quite as highly as the line.
Do you have what that projection is?
So in 33 minutes, it's at 45.5. I think that minute projection will come up, but not by enough to get to the line.
Yeah. Jokic to me too is like, you correct me if I'm wrong, but a team like the Utah Jazz, he's not someone who likes to go and pad stats against bad teams. He's just like, my teammates can do everything type thing. He puts up like monster triple doubles against really good teams. So I kind of see that angle too here with Jokic. Do you have the break even percentage on that?
So with the way it's projected right now, minus 281, again, I think that changes as his minutes projection comes up.
All right. So the first release is Nikola Jokic under 50.5 points, rebounds, and assists, minus 115 at DraftKings. And we'll move on to the second release here. And we're going to Caesars. And I see we're getting more cities in. Cape Town. Joe Osborne again with Japan. And Phoenix. Suns. The Suns are a trippy NBA team. I can't figure that team out. So the game we're going to is Wizards and Wolves. And then we're looking for an assist prop. And then the player you're looking for is Jordan Poole. Might have to go down. Or go back, Del, to the previous screen, and then there's player total assists at the... There you go. So we're looking at Jordan Poole. It is under 6.5 assists, minus 129. So the bet, once again, the second release is Jordan Poole under 6.5 assists, minus 129. Adam, you want to break this one down for us?
Yeah, so I mean, this one I think is a bit easier to explain than Jokic unders against Utah. Jordan Poole, 16.5, the Wizards 16.5 point dogs at Minnesota. Very, very, very good defensive team. Jordan Poole, not exactly a great player overall. Lines moved down a little bit. It opened at 6.5 minus 108. Now it's minus 129 is what I'm seeing right now. 30. We haven't projected for 34 minutes, about 5.5 assists, a little under 5.5 assists. So again, all of this is projection based primarily, but pretty easy to explain why he doesn't look good here as well as a 16.5 point dog at a very, very good defensive team. Not like he has a bunch of good scorers around him either, to facilitate his assists. Even if he is playing well and playmaking and creating shots for guys, still a pretty decent chance that they also just miss those shots.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. Jordan Poole at 6.5 assists. He's been getting more assists of late. That's why his totals come up. But I think at any game, 6.5 kind of catches your eye because it's like Jordan Poole has to make 7 good passes, which just seems hard in general for him. But then you also you're talking about the matchup with the Wolves here. A lot of potential to convert easily when you have a lob threat, when you get layups at the rim and stuff. Like, who is he passing to on the Wizards that is going to get easy buckets on a Timberwolves defense with Gobert and all their rim protection? So, too, it's like he's probably relying mostly on jump shots here to get these assists, and 6.5 is a pretty big number for him. And then you're also considering jump shots too. So
and Kuz is questionable also. Like, if he's out, you have one less competent NBA scorer.
Yeah, and you're a Wizards fan, so you're pretty familiar with this team. So once the second release is Jordan Poole under 6.5 assists, minus 129 at Caesars. So we'll move on to the third release here, and we are going to bet MGM. And then the game we're looking for is Mavericks Hornets. And then we are looking for player rebounds. Numbers there, which is good. So the player we're looking at is Miles Bridges. We're going under 8.5 rebounds, even money on Miles Bridges. So once again, that's Miles Bridges under 8.5 rebounds, even money, bet MGM. Adam, we want to break this one down for us?
Yeah, again, just, projection based. It's not that it's a terrible matchup or anything for Bridges, but we haven't projected for 39 minutes. We haven't projected for about 8 rebounds. So at even money, you're just getting a spot where, it is close to a coin flip just based on projection, but it is obviously, he is projected a little bit under that 8.5 number. You're getting even money. This is just one of those spots where, it projects close, but if you could just hammer this spot, not like day after day after day, you're going to make a good amount of money over the course of the season, just getting favorable odds on essentially a coin flip.
Yeah, if you don't have that MGM too, he's available. It was minus 103 at Caesars when we came on here, and then I think minus 105. I want to say 365. So there's a couple that were pretty close. BetMGM's by far the best price here at even money. They were the only one that was trading this at even money. Everyone else is minus money, but just a couple cents off at a couple other spots too. So Caesars was minus 103, 365 minus 105. So the 3 releases here are Nikola Jokic under 50.5 points, rebounds, and assists, minus 115 DraftKings. Jordan Poole under 6.5 assists, minus 129 at Caesars. And then the last one is Miles Bridges under 8.5 rebounds, even money, bet MGM. Adam, I'm going to ask you too, because I tweeted out, you responded to me. I didn't have time to respond back to you. I don't know if everyone saw it, but Stephen A. Smith made comments about Quentin Grimes and how he's doing a great job for the New York Knicks when they defeat the Milwaukee Bucks. He's been very impressed with Quentin Grimes. Quentin Grimes has been traded to the Detroit Pistons at the beginning of February near the trade deadline. He's not played for the Knicks. He hasn't even really played for the Pistons in a long time. He's been injured too. This is a voter for awards. And Adam responds to me with a comment. Adam, want to explain what you were saying to me?
Yeah, I mean, so for one, I will say that when I saw I saw people making fun of Stephen A for that, it didn't even register at first because I immediately just made Quentin Grimes, Miles McBride in my head, which I'm assuming is what he did as well. But it is, and I don't do a lot of futures betting, but it is something that I think is always really interesting and people don't talk about enough is, you'll see people talking about MVP odds or most improved player odds or whatever it may be. And the conversation naturally kind of always goes to like, well, this guy's having a great year. He should be better than, plus 400, but you're not betting on like who statistically has the best season or is the most improved player. You're betting on what a bunch of people who in a lot of cases are not actually paying attention or are not actually, they're not paying attention to numbers that actually matter. You're betting on what they're going to vote, not what someone deserves. I think we saw it. I think it was last year with Dagnall, where I think you can make a really good case that he was coach of the year based on what Oklahoma City did, but he was not remotely close. He was never going to win. He had odds like, plus 800, plus 900, I think, at a point where you could realistically argue he was the best coach, but it was still a bad bet because he had a 0% chance of actually being voted for.
Yeah, I think we might spend way too much time handicapping like the stats of the players in these futures market instead of handicapping the actual voters and like because at the end of the day, it's who the voters are going to vote for, right? And I remember even at the beginning of the year, people were asking about sixth man of the year, and I was like, well, I thought Malik Monk. I was like, it's almost like he was deserving last year, in my opinion, but he was never ever going to win it last year. But it's almost like he got their attention last year, and the voting is for this year. Right. But he got their attention last year in the playoffs. With the Warriors, he had a bunch of big games. Oh, look, he's a great six man. It just like carried into this year, and you could just you dropped the name Mark Daigneault there too. It's like same thing. It's for this year, but he got the voters' attentions last year, right? And It's kind of like carrying in and stuff. So, it was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you saw it with Jokic and Embiid too, where last year, where as soon as Embiid could like realistically win the MVP. It's not, oh, well, they should just both be even money because it's a coin flip between them. As soon as voters had a reason to not give Jokic another MVP, like Embiid becomes a big favorite.
Massive favorite. I feel like the guy this year will be Wembanyama, defensive player of the year. He won't win the vote this year, but it'll be next year. I'll carry this like momentum he's having. It'll be carried into next year's market type thing.
Yeah, and we saw this conversation too with Chet and Wemby for rookie of the year. When Chet started off the year better than Wemby, but and people were arguing like, how can you argue that Chet's better or whatever? It's like Wemby has the narrative. Like people want to vote for Wemby, assuming Wemby improves and gets to where he's going. Like it's so much easier for him to just get those votes. It doesn't matter who actually has the better year.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you there. So the one thing I'll just recap here quickly: the releases were Jokic under 15.5 points, rebounds, and assists, -115. Jordan Poole under 6.5 assists, -129. And Miles Bridges under 8.5 rebounds, even money. Those are the three releases. We will be back Thursday, 10:30 a.m. Once again, like, subscribe, drop us some comments and stuff, and let's get a sweep tonight. Del, play the song.